Good day, everyone. Today we will be talking about Martha Elizabeth Rogers, who is proponent of the nursing theory, science of unitary humanities. In this video, we will learn about the autobiography of the theories, overview of the theory, and lastly, the metaparadigm of the theory. Martha Elizabeth Rogers was born in Dallas, Texas, United States, on May 12, 1914, sharing a birthday with Florence Nightingale. She died on March 13, 1994, in Phoenix, Arizona, United States. Martha was known for developing the science of unitary humanities, and her landmark book, An Introduction to the Theoretical Basis of Nursing. She believes that a patient can never be separated from their environment when addressing health and treatment. In 1936, she received her nursing diploma from the Knoxville General Hospital School of Nursing. In 1937, she earned her public health nursing degree in George Peabody College in Tennessee. In 1945, she got her master's degree from Teachers College at Columbia University. In 1954, doctorate in nursing was given to her from Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. After Martha Rogers graduated from George Peabody College in Tennessee, in 1937, she worked for Children's Fund of Michigan for 2 years as public health nurse. In 1940, she accepted a position in Hartford at the Visiting Nurse Association. In 1945, she settled on a position as an executive director at Visiting Nurse Service in Phoenix, Arizona. After 21 years, she officially retired professor and head of the Division of Nursing in 1975. In 1979, she became Professor Emerita and continued to have an active role in the development of nursing and the science of unitary human being. We were going to talk about the introduction of Rogers' theory. Rogers' theory is a belief of the coexistence of the human environment has greatly influenced the process of the change toward better health. The patient cannot be separated from his or her environment when addressing health and treatment. This view leads an open Martha A. Rogers theory, known as the science of unitary human being, which allowed nursing to be considered one of the scientific disciplines. Rogers' theory defined nursing as an art in science that is humanistic and humanitarian. It is directed toward the unitary of human and it concerns of the nature and the direction of human development. The goal of nurses is to participate in the process of change. Rogers repeatedly stated that she did not create a theory, but rather an abstract system, a science from According to Rogers, the science of unitary nursing, which is the knowledge specific in the field of nursing that comes from scientific research, and the art of nursing, which involves using the science of nursing actively to help better life of patients. The science of unitary human being comprises of 5 assumptions, 4 major concepts, and 3 major principles. First, basic assumptions is wholeness, which means the human being is a unified whole, possessing individual and manifesting characteristics that I am more than different from the sum of its parts. Second is openness, which means the individual and the environment are continuously exchanging matter and energy with each other. Third, unidirectionality, which means the life processes of the human being evolve irreversibly and unidirectional along at space, time. The fourth, the pattern and organizations. Patterns identify human beings and reflect their innovative wholeness. And the last assumption is the sentence and thought, which means that the individual is characterized by the capacity for abstraction and imagery, language and thought, sensation and emotion.
Today, I'll be discussing the major concepts of Martha Rogers' theory of science of unitary human beings. This theory emphasizes the connection between humans and their environment, focusing on the dynamic interaction of energy fields. This theory is built on four major concepts: energy field, openness, pattern, and pan-dimensionality. Let's first discuss the first concept, energy field. Energy field is the inevitable part of life. Human and environment both have every field which is open. This is the foundation of Martha Rogers' theory. It represents the life force that exists in all living and non-living things. Both humans and the environment have energy fields that are constantly driving growth and change. These energy fields are inseparable and essential to understanding life. Second concept is openness. Openness is a no boundary that can inhibit the flow of energy between human and environment, leading to continuous movement of energy. Martha Rogers explains that there are no boundaries to the flow of energy between humans and their environment. This constant exchange reflects the interconnectedness of all things, allowing for continuous growth and mutual influence. Next, we have pattern. Pattern is defined as the distinguishing characteristics of energy field perceived as a single waves. Pattern is an abstraction and it gives identity to the field. This concept refers to the unique and identifying characteristic of each energy field. Patterns are like fingerprints. They give identity to the field and show how energy flows in a wave-like manner. Understanding patterns help us recognize the distinct nature of every individual and environment. Finally, there's pan-dimensionality. Pan-dimensionality, defined as a non-linear domain without spatial or temporal attributes. This concept refers to a reality that goes beyond the traditional boundaries of space and time. It describes as a non-linear domain where experiences are not limited by time or space, emphasizing the boundless and multidimensional nature of human existence. In summary, Martha Rogers' major concept, energy field, openness, pattern, and pan-dimensionality, remind us to see humans as dynamic, holistic beings who are deeply connected with their environment. These ideas encourage us to provide care that supports harmony and growth. Next, I'll be discussing the home dynamic principles of Martha Rogers' theory of science of unitary human beings. These principles focus on the dynamic balance between life processes and the environment. They help us understand humans as unified beings continuously interacting with their surroundings. Martha Rogers identified three key principles: resonancy, helicity, and tribulity. First, let's discuss the first principle, resonancy. Resonancy is a wave pattern are continuously changing in environmental and human energy fields. This refers to the continuous change in wave patterns within human environmental energy fields. It highlights how energy flows and evolves dynamically over time. In simple terms, it represents how humans adapt and respond to their environment in a rhythmical way. Second principle is helicity. Helicity is the nature of change and is unpredictable, continuous, and innovative. This principle explains that change is constant, unpredictable, and innovative. Life processes and energy interactions are not linear. Instead, they unfold in unique and creative ways. Helicity reflects the individual of human experiences and how these experiences contribute to continuous growth. Finally, we have integrality. Integrality is an energy field that human and environment are in a continuous mutual process. This principle emphasizes the mutual and inseparable relationship between human and environmental energy fields. It shows that both influence each other in a continuous and harmonious process. For example, a person's well-being is directly impacted by the environment and vice versa. In summary, the home dynamic principles, resonancy, helicity, and integrality highlight the dynamic and interconnected nature of human life and the environment. These principles encourage us to view patients holistically, recognize their constant interactions with their surroundings.
Meta paradigm has four major concepts that are frequently interrelated or fundamental in this journey. And this unitary human being, which are related to person, environment, health, and nursing. Unitary human being is unified for having its own distinctive characteristics, which cannot be perceived by looking at, describing, or summarizing the parts. It is an open system which is continuously interact with environment, and it cannot be viewed as part, but it should be considered as a whole. While the environment, the field coexists and are integral, it includes the entire energy field other than a person. Manifestation and disrupt this field are perceived. These fields are irreducible, and it is not limited to space and time, and it is identified by its pattern and organization. In health, characteristic and behavior emerging out of the mutual, simultaneous interaction of the human and the environment fields, and it is determined by the interaction between energy fields. And lastly, nursing exists to serve people, and it is direct and overriding responsibility to the society. And nursing action, direct interaction of person and environment to maximize health potential. And take note, nursing is both science and art.
Discussing the nursing process within Martha Rogers' theory of unitary human being. As a renowned nurse theorist, Martha Rogers emphasized viewing humans as an integral with their environment, and her nursing process is rooted in this holistic perspective. It has three main steps: pattern appraisal, needle tiring, and evaluation. Let's first discuss the first step, pattern appraisal. Pattern appraisal is an inclusive assessment of human environment energy fields where nurses validate the entire appraisal along with the patients. This involves assessing the human environment energy fields inclusively. Nurses work collaboratively with parents to validate and understand these patterns. For example, this could mean identifying the unique energy patterns of stressors affecting the patient's well-being. It's all about getting a clear picture of the patient's overall state. Second step is mutual patterning. Mutual patterning is the mutual interaction between the patient and the nurse, and it is done by suggesting the various alternatives, educating, empowering that depends on the patient's condition and needs. This is the interactive phase where the nurse and patient work together to create positive change. Nurses suggest alternative approaches, provide education, and empower patients based on their specific condition and needs. The goal here is to enhance harmony between the patient and their environment, promoting healing and well-being. The final step is evaluation. Evaluation, it is done by repeating the pattern appraisal after mutual patterning to determine the extent of dissonance and harmony. These steps involve revisiting the initial problems after mutually patterning to determine the level of harmony achieved. By comparing the patient's current state with the initial assessment, nurses can evaluate whether the interventions were effective and whether any dissonance remains. In conclusion, Martha Rogers' nursing process is a dynamic and interactive approach that reflects her holistic view of human beings. By focusing on pattern appraisal, mutual patterning, and evaluation. Nurses can be better support patients in achieving harmony with their environment.